My story in itself is so unique, and I know there are so many other stories to explore, so that I feel is my life purpose. My name is Sammy, and I am a creative storyteller. I moved here to Los Angeles from Atlanta, Georgia, right at the height of the pandemic. So some might find that crazy, but I thought it was perfect timing. My journey in LA has been quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There have been a lot of pros and a few cons. You know, it's crowded, it's expensive, but the positive thing is that I'm learning so much about this city through a lot of my Tinder dates and the guys that I've met through Tinder. Today, we're going to explore my new city of Los Angeles, and I'm going to tell you some very unique and interesting stories about my Tinder experience thus far. All right, guys, we are at Vista Hermosa Park, one of my favorite views of LA. I'm gonna take you to my favorite spot. It is the best view, in my opinion, of LA. You can see the city right behind me, and it actually reminds me of a great Tinder date. Tip number 1, find someone you can geek out with. I met this guy on Tinder. It was perfect. It's very rare that I meet someone who has the same obsession I have over music, and he somewhat planned like a city tour that was like a world tour. So we go to one park and he plays Stevie Wonder's Inner Visions, which is like, who even thinks of that? But he did. And then we go to the next one and he plays like a Red Hot Chili Peppers set, which was so badass to me. And then the next park he plays like a classic Travis Scott set. And I was just like, you hit all of my like perfect pressure points. I learned so much about this city, and I found my favorite park now, so I kind of come here, don't tell him, without him. But yeah, like it was really special and very thoughtful, and I thought that was just super sweet. So to sum it all up, make sure that you ask your date prior to their favorite shows, podcasts, music, inspirations, all of those things, because it might make the date more special for the two of you if you know a little bit more about the person before you actually meet up. So I have some more fun and exciting stories to share with you. I'm going to take you over to the Arts District. I just left one of my favorite coffee shops here in the Arts District, and it actually reminds me of tip number 2. Old matches can be new boos. It is quite challenging to date online. I have found that the biggest challenge is going from messaging to meeting up in real life. For example, I met this guy and we immediately clicked. And you know, he was a creative like me. It was just perfect. We discovered all of these things that we loved about each other. But for some reason, he just kept playing games. Like, we'd never meet up in real life. He would message me, he would DM me on social media, didn't even follow me, but just would DM me on social media. And we just never linked up. It was really depressing, honestly, and I wanted to just wallow and watch old episodes of I Love New York. But then I decided I might as well go back to the app and discover some of those old matches that you really didn't pay attention to because somebody else was distracting you. In that process, I found this one guy who I had way more in common with, and we literally linked up and spent a 14-hour day together going everywhere. So don't forget the old match. Don't get too distracted by new matches, okay? Because you never know where your new boo may live. Now I'm gonna take you to one of my favorite spots in LA. We're gonna try to catch the sunset at the beach, so follow along. We're here at Playa Vista. It's one of my favorite little hideaways. It actually brings me to tip number 3. Not everyone in LA is vegan. I met this guy on Tinder. We decided that we were gonna make plans with each other. He told me to pick the spot and to take initiative, which I learned from previous experience is sometimes okay for me to take the lead on things. So I was excited for it, but he did mention that He had some sort of like dietary restriction. So I pick him up and we're riding, listening to Larry June, goofing, laughing, enjoying ourselves, having a grand time. We arrive at the restaurant and immediately this guy just starts busting out laughing and I'm like, what did I do? I start wiping my face, like, is there something on my face? And I'm like, what's so funny? And he looks at me and he's like, you know I'm not vegan, right? And I was like, vegetarian? And he's like, no. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you said you had a restrictive diet, like whatever, I picked the perfect place. And he's like, I'm pretty much a carnivore. And I was like, what? Oftentimes we assume things about people that we literally have no idea about. Like when you're meeting someone online, they're a complete stranger. So if they say something, ask for clarification. Ask for them to really go into detail about what does that dietary restriction actually mean? Where do you like to go? Especially if you're making plans for someone you don't know. So just remember this tip number 3, don't assume, because it makes an ass out of you and me. What I've enjoyed most about Los Angeles so far is being able to just come to the beach, relax. Definitely, to my surprise, I found some pretty good restaurants. In comparison to Atlanta, I never thought that I would enjoy the food so much, but I found some pretty good spots. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on my journey throughout LA, my newest city. Though not all Tinder matches are a match and they may not last, you can use Tinder for so much more. I mean, it's helped me tremendously to explore a new city and to create more relationships and friends. Make sure you comment some of your favorite places to explore so that I can read and maybe find some new places to go and some new faces to meet. Peace.